first-class root doctor. I don't buy no other doctor in this land. I'm a first-class root doctor. I don't buy no other doctor in this land.
Today I'm going to be doing a quick video. I'm going to be talking to you guys about magical objects used within Hoodoo. I'm going to break it down. I know a lot of people get confused when it comes to shopping at a spiritual store or just shopping like for spiritual products in general, like whether it be in person or online. Now I'm going to be speaking from the perspective of Hoodoo and how things have been practiced in the past, okay? So, excuse me. I'm going to break this down. I don't want this to be long at all. I want this video to be relatively short, but I'm going to be looking in my books. I love reading. What I'll say is I found my love for reading again when I started reading books that were about topics that I enjoy. Okay. So if you're having an issue like you feel like, well, you don't like reading, or like me, you've been in school pretty much your whole life, so you don't want to have to read something else. Like I don't want to have to read nothing else. But when it comes to spirituality and being on your spiritual journey, books are so important. Like books are a huge part of um I don't want to say of the mentorship aspect, but before you can be a master, you have to be the student. I'm sorry. So before you can be the teacher or the master, you have to be a student. So books are really good for just learning and just absorbing information. You're not doing anything. You're just reading. You're just learning. You're not practicing anything. You're not actually putting it to use. You're just learning. And that's good. Like you have to pretty much be like a sponge. Of course, you want to filter in certain things, because Hoodoo might not be in your spiritual path. But this video is for people who are taking a liking to Hoodoo. I may have been the first person to introduce you to it, or you may already practice it. But this video is just going to give you context into the magical objects that are used historically throughout Hoodoo, okay, or folk magic in general. So first, I'm going to start with candles. No, I'm going to start with spiritual baths, okay? So spiritual baths are a mixture of oils, waters, and herbs that are placed in a bathtub to give the user various energies, okay? So when it comes to a spiritual bath, for those of you who've never taken a spiritual bath, I make them handmade. Now, in my spiritual baths, I don't use what some people use. Like some people use like it's like a blue like tablet. I think it starts with like a C, cascade or something like that. But and then they use like the eggshell. But me personally, I don't use that. Like I feel like when it comes to you taking baths or you putting things on your body, whether it be spiritual or not, it needs to be um it needs to be good for like sensitive skin. You have to keep all of that in mind. Like even when you're shopping like at a botanica or something, like, and you're adding like these different elements to your spiritual baths, like oils and conditioning oils and all of that, or spiritual colognes, you still have to be mindful that um these products might have chemicals or dyes in them. So you really want to be careful when it comes to that. That's why I always say just get it from somebody who knows the properties of what they're adding in, and they know how to make it to where your body won't react in a negative way to the spiritual bath. So like I said, if you want to shop luxury spiritual baths, shop www.mastermanifestor888.com, and you can just go to the menu tab in the top left, and then you can click shop by product and then press spiritual baths. All right, you guys, so it's super late at night, by the way. It's 1:54 a.m. I'm a night owl, so I don't mind it. But if I look a little bit tired, excuse me. But yeah, getting back into the baths. So many spiritual baths are recommended to cleanse away negative energies and situations. Baths come in an array of colors and scents. Some have names such as Come to Me and Dragon's Blood. One very popular bath oil in Memphis is Dr. Pryor's Seven Holy Spirit Hyssop brand bath oil. That's cool. So, something about hoodoo that I always was drawn to is the fact that the history of it, the historical aspects, the fact that the information isn't just out there. A lot of the information is oral histories passed down. Okay, so unless you have a really good mentor, a lot of these practices, um, or a lot of these stories are not going to be available to you. Okay, so that's why I said good mentorship. I'm not just saying that. Like, I'm not just saying that to um get a new Patreon subscriber. I'm not just saying that to get a new booking. Like, that's gonna come. When it comes to the things that I'm telling you guys, it's because I know. Okay. I'm not gonna come on here and talk about something I'm not knowledgeable about, or not to say I know everything, but I'm gonna tell you guys what I know from my perspective. Like I said, from the perspective of a spiritual worker, somebody who does this for a living. Okay. So and I'm never too good to learn something new. Like, I'm still young, I'm still evolving. Of course, I'm going to be learning new things, and I'm going to share it with you guys. But what I will say is, when you're plugged into the right communities, or when you're doing what you need to do spiritually, spirit will send you the right people who can give you the right information, because a lot of the information that's out there is not hoodoo. Okay, it's not anything close to it. It's really like arts and crafts. Um, Somebody had to say it, because you're not using any of the historical elements of hoodoo. You're not using anything that the ancestors used. It's a reason behind every object. It's a reason behind, and it's a meaning behind every single object that we use within the practice itself. And it doesn't just have to be hoodoo, but just within ATRs. There are always everything has to have a everything has to have a purpose. Okay. So next, I'm gonna move on to the black cat bone. So the black cat bone is one of the most recognized conjure components in hoodoo culture. Lore about the bone says that you should take them to a crossroads along with a small mirror. Placing the bones into your mouth will eventually result in the mirror going black. This is an indicator that the bone has the power to make the owner invisible. Black cat bones are believed to be very powerful objects capable of wielding great supernatural powers. Okay, so I actually use the black cat bone, the black cat eye. I use that a lot within my business. Um Sometimes I'll carry the soap, or I do the mystery boxes. So within the mystery box, like my last client, she got a mystery box for spiritual protection. So I knew the conditions that was going on in her life. So I wanted to add in the black cat root, just because I know what it's used for. And with the things that were going on in her life at the time, I knew that it would be a great component to add in, um, especially with her getting a new job and starting a new chapter. The black cat bone, the black cat eye, or whatever, is really good for love, attracting love, good luck, prosperity. Of course, it has other properties as well, but that's what it's usually used for. Okay, but it's very, 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 very powerful spiritually. Okay, so that's just one of the bones that are used. There are several different types of bones that you can use, um, even like chicken bones and things like that, like animal bones. Things that come from the earth are heavily used within hoodoo. You will see that. That's what I always loved about it. I love the fact that I've always loved history. I've always been super into African history, especially back when I was in my pro-black conscious phase or whatever. I'm not cringing. I may or may not be cringing on the inside, but I'm grateful for that journey because it led me to where I am now, to where it's like what I do spiritually, what I practice spiritually, all of the information that I learned in just about just the African history, the tribes. I was studying the Bible very heavily at one point in time. And I wasn't sure why, because I knew Christianity really wasn't a fit for me anymore. But it was something. I said, it's gonna be something. It's something with this Bible. Like, I've read the Bible several times. Um, and it's crazy because now I use the Bible in my spiritual practice. Like, the Bible is a huge component of Hoodoo, using the scriptures, because you got to think what was available to us, what was available to our ancestors when they were going through their enslavement. The Bible was. The Bible was pushed heavily on them. Um, they had to use this. They had to worship a new God. They had to worship a new deity. Like, Jesus is basically a deity. Let's be clear, but he's just one component of one religion. There are other people who came before him, literally people who came before Jesus. No, they weren't Jesus, but there were other spirits that are notorious for doing some crazy, amazing things as far as supernatural things, supernatural powers or whatever. There are people long before Jesus that have done that. So I forgot what tangent I was going on, you guys, but yeah. Oh, the Bible. Okay. So now let me just cover books in general, because books are a huge aspect. So I touched on the Bible. So one of the most popular books used in Hoodoo practices in the South is the Bible. Scriptures are used in conjunction with practices to give them spiritual powers. The physical presence of biblical scriptures was believed to have spiritual essence. Scriptures were embroidered into clothes and pillows in homes of practitioners. So that just goes to show that even though our ancestors went through what they went through, I won't even get into some of the darkest, scariest, saddest things that some of our ancestors went through, but use your imagination. And even when you use your imagination, it comes nowhere near to what they actually endured. So that's why we honor them, because of the sacrifices they made. You know, they didn't just wake up one day and know that they would be taken out of their element, taken out of their spiritual practices. And for those of you who have studied a little bit about African history, you know, within each country there are different tribes. Okay, now keep in mind, Africa is a continent. Okay, so there are several countries within the continent of Africa. Within those countries there are several tribes within those continents. Okay, within those countries, I'm sorry. So for a slew of African people to be taken from their land to come here, that'll just show you that Black people as a whole, we're a melting pot, okay? We're a melting pot. We're not just one. We're not just like, we're not just one dimensional. We're multifaceted. I'm sorry, y'all have to excuse me. It's 2 in the morning. We're multifaceted. You know, we come from different places. We speak different languages. Just because our skin is the same does not mean that we're from the same tribe. Just because we have similar features like big lips or a big nose does not mean that we come from the same bloodline. Okay, so when you keep that in mind, you'll learn to just honor those who came before you, because just the pain of thinking of how displaced that they had to feel, not speaking the same languages as the people who captured them, you know, not practicing the same things, but being forced to practice these things. Like, do you know how much of spirituality is a huge part of African life? Spirituality is like, it's like everything. Now, in some countries in Africa, they practice Christianity, but what I'm speaking about, the ATRs, okay, the African traditional religions and spiritual practices, okay. So Yeah. Now, the Book of Psalms is a popular book used alongside prayers and practices in folk magic. Certain psalms will be recited while healers anointed their clients with oil to bring about healing from sickness. The topic of a specific psalm will be used for a particular ailment or situation. For instance, verses that speak about weakness or sickness in the psalmist's eyes, bones or flesh will be applied to address similar ailments in clients. A client suffering from eye problems might utilize the following text found in Psalms chapter 6, verse 6 through 9. I am weary with my groaning. All the night I make my bed to swim. I water my couch with my tears. Mine eye is consumed because of grief. Grief. It waxeth old because of all mine enemies. Depart from me, all you workers of iniquity. For the Lord hath heard the voice of my weeping. The Lord hath heard my supplication. The Lord received my prayer. Okay? So that was Psalms chapter 6, verse 6 through 9. Okay? One spell used in stopping slander requires the user to write the name of the person causing them trouble on a sheet of paper. The paper is then placed into a bottle of glory water, and the bottle the bottle is buried into the ground. The person is then advised to read the verses of Psalms 120 for 7 days in order for the spell to work. Some healers suggest placing the Bible open to Psalms 23 under the pillow of a sick person in order to bring about healing. So, now I'm going to list off a couple of more books. Now, keep in mind, I'm just giving you tidbits, okay? Now, this is all factuals, okay? This is actual recorded history, okay? Um, Now, what I will say, the little bitty tidbits that I drop, write them down. And from there, then you can purchase books. Like you can order the Power of the Psalms. You can order Hoodoo Bible Magic. Those are books that incorporate the Bible in using psalmic magic or what's known as bibliomancy. Okay, so so there are a number of books that have been popular among members of the Hoodoo and Conjure culture. Some of them include European metaphysical books, such as the Black Pullet, Long Lost Friend, the Sixth and Seventh Books of Moses, and the Secret of the Psalms. Books known as dream books, which focuses on interpreting dreams, have historically been popular among the Hoodoo community as well. So, speaking of the dream books, I actually have a couple of dream books here with me. So, this is a really good one. This is the Professor Dr. Herbert, the Success Dream book. This one is blue. This other one is Aunt Sally's Policy Player's Dream Book, The Study of Harmony and Numbers. So these are two really good references. I love to use these because they break down the numerology. So like for instance, let's say you have a dream about a guitar. It says, luck in love affairs if the dreamer sings and plays on the instrument at the same time. Okay, so who would have known that that is what that means if you have a dream about a guitar? You know what I'm saying? So these books have been around for years. Like these books, so it says here, Indio Products Incorporated. So this book, most likely, I think I did see this in one of the old Hoodoo catalogs. But these books have been around for years. Okay, so when people back then, when they would go gamble and they would play the lottery and things like that, they would use numbers. They would use downloads from their spirits. They would use these books and the Bible in order to get these messages and to understand the meaning of the dream. Okay, so literally, a dream could literally be telling you the numbers to play for the lottery. So these books are extremely important. Okay, and these books are really good. Like I think it was one of them that I liked better. I like both of them. It's just one is bigger. So like the Dr. Herbert's one, I think this was my favorite one because so I'm gonna read from the policy players in this one. I'm gonna give you an example of what they sound like, the difference. So this is the symbolism of a cat in Aunt Sally's. Signifies treachery of friends and disappointment in love affairs. If the cat appears to be lying down or sleeping, you will but partially succeed in what you undertake. If the cat is fighting or appears to be in a rage, you will be robbed. And then it has a number 14. Okay, so in this one, let me see what I can find about cat. Yeah, this one is a lot more, like it's multiple pages just for C. I don't know if they'll have it in here, but okay. To see a black cat is a sign of approaching danger. It has a number 144. To dream of a brown or ash colored cat is a sign of happiness. That's crazy because that's the color of one of my old cats. And I had a dream about her not too long ago. So that represents happiness. So isn't that crazy? Um I dream a lot. I dream quite a bit. Like I literally dream like pretty much every night. And for those of you who are highly spiritual, you know, dreams are messages and spirit encounters, okay? So when you learn to use these dreams as a means to guide you throughout your life, then we're having another conversation, okay? So now, so we covered books. I gave you guys some books to look into: The Black Poet, Long Lost Friend, The Sixth and Seventh Books of Moses, Secrets of the Psalms. Then you got the dream book. So I gave you guys two dream books. Those are both well-known books that have been around for several generations. So before the internet, they would sell their spiritual products in like catalogs, okay? So you can find some of these catalogs online. You can find them. One website I love is Lucky Mojo. That website is like literally like an online database. Okay, I have a couple of the owners' books as well. I think her name is Catherine. It starts with a Y. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but it's like long. It's kind of long. Catherine Y, something like that. So her books are good. She's super knowledgeable. I love Lucky Mojo. It's so much information on there. Like you can get lost on there. You can literally get lost on the website because it's so much shit on there. But it's like a database, so it's gonna give you from the historical aspect. It's gonna give you um, it's gonna cite sources that information is found on. So you know from there you can do more and more research. If you're serious about getting into this, even if you don't know anybody that practice this or whatever, you can still practice this as long as you're African American or black. Like, but this is a practice that is for us because of what our ancestors went through. And I understand some people might not fuck with me or whatever after that, but it is what it is. Like, this is for us. Now, don't get me wrong, I've seen other people practice hoodoo who are not African American, but this is for us, you know, because the basis of what we're doing, we're calling on our African spirits, our ancestral spirits. So if historically people of other races have done certain things to our ancestors, and our ancestors are not going to work with them. So you can say all day, every day, oh, I practice this, I practice that. But do they fuck with you? Do these spirits fuck with you? Your spirits fuck with you. Like, who's your bloodline? Who are your spirits? Because my spirits who practice what I practice look like me. This is not, it's not racist or anything like that. It's just this is for us. This practice came about out of a need, okay? A need from protection from the police, a need for, you know, a protection from our houses being burned down, our churches being burned down, our neighborhoods being burned down, protection from our daughters being raped, our sons being raped, our families being separated, our families being um just used and abused in every type of way. This is where the practice came about. This is how you have to think when you're coming into this spiritual practice, because it's not the shits and giggles y'all see on spiritual TikTok. It's not. It's really a lot of healing. It's not about trying to get a man or keep a man or being the richest person in the world. It's not about that. It's about maintaining yourself, living a life of prosperity, however prosperity means to you, okay? Whatever that means to you, okay? So this ain't no popularity contest. It's just not for that. Like, this is deeper than that, okay? So, if this sounds like something that, um, you feel is for you, then definitely look more into it. Like, that's all it takes is just one person saying something and sparking that interest. But yeah, our practices have been demonized for years and years, eaten heavily within our community, within the Black community. Like, literally, our own practices get demonized. Why do you think other cultures and other people who are not us want to practice it? Because it fucking works. But the thing is, you have to go into it with the right mindset, having the right mindset, knowing um that we always honor the ancestors. We always have to pay the spirits first, you know? Like, even with what I do, I have a spiritual business, but I always keep the spirits in mind first. Like, yes, I'm getting money. I'm doing what I need to do. Like, I'm more stable than I've ever been, but I know that stability came from my spirit team. You know, the things that I had to go through to get to this point to where I can come on here and teach you guys and help you guys. I went through a lot. Okay, I went through a lot. So don't think that you're gonna come into this and it's gonna be just given to you. This is not that. Like, this is not that. Like, you're basically gonna have to go through different forms of initiation with your spirit team that's different for everybody. But if you actually want to get into like priesthood or priestesseshood, or if you want to go into far as like getting initiated seriously, like being a part of an ATR, that's different. That's different. But hoodoo is not that. Okay. So that's more of another route. That's more of the heavier route or whatever. But with hoodoo, you can practice hoodoo and still be a part of Christianity. You can practice hoodoo and pretty much be a part of anything. But all you need to know is this is our shit. So don't learn it if you don't want to. But it's a reason why it's demonized. It's a reason why people try to keep this from us, because this is our superpower. This is for us. Okay? So, sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent. You guys, I really did not want to make this video too long. I'm going to skip around. So, we have candles. I'm going to read the color of the candle. So, the candles are used in folk magic practices for a number of reasons. The candle gives a certain ceremonial feel to an environment and creates an atmosphere where interaction with the spirits can be practiced. Candles come in many different shapes, sizes, and colors. They are used in many rituals as a means of focusing energy and enhancing spiritual work. Candles are sometimes anointed with various oils and herbs to enhance the power of the object. Okay? So, if you're a newbie, you're starting out with candle magic or whatever the case may be, do not start with those big 7-day candles. Like, you don't know what you're doing, so just don't. Like, you can maybe collect them, keep in your altar closet, or if you have like a space where you put all your magical items, you can do that until you get to where you need to be to where you can use it. But if you want to just start out with candle magic, use the chime candles. I have them on my website, like the little spell candles, the chime candles. Those are really good. Or like the tea lights, the little tea lights, you get those from the dollar store. Those are really good. I started out with those. But everybody kind of teaches candle magic a little bit different, but there are certain things that you need to know when it comes to candle magic. Okay, so don't just think you're gonna just jump into it and just, oh, you burn the candle just like a Bath and Body Works candle. It's not the same thing. Okay, this is a form of divination. So when you get into it, you have to really understand what you're doing. Like I said, the colors are important, the size, the shape, all of that. Okay, so the colors. I'm gonna get into the colors. Red colored candles are popular when you're dealing with love and sex. Green colored candles are used for like money and financial stability. Um, Gold. So the gold candles are used for money, um, like royalty. That gives me like that energy. Okay. Purple candles are used for like control, or shutting somebody up. Um, you see the pink, self love. Of course, like I said, the green. The green is for money. Um, so yeah, that's just to name a couple. Okay, of course, black is for protection. White candles are universal. You can use a white candle for anything. So when I say get those little tea light candles, you can literally do anything with the white candles. You can do anything with the white candles. So just start small with the small ones. As you burn them, as that wax is hot, you can sprinkle in some herbs. Um, you can get creative, okay? But get creative with the small candles. Don't start out on the big candles because you're just not ready. I'm gonna just be real with you. Y'all are not ready to be just jumping into candle magic, okay? Because it's certain things like you need to be paying attention to the flame. You need to be paying attention to the smoke of the flame. Um, Pay attention to if the candle is fucking crying. Is it tears coming on the side? You got to pay attention to the wax when the candle's done burning. So all of these things are important when dealing with candle magic. So moving on, coffin nails. So coffin nails, this is like really old school shit, but they're used in conjure work to drive away or harm an enemy. Okay, so if you ever have anybody fucking with you, there's always something. When it comes to hoodoo, like I said, don't fuck with me and I won't fuck with you. Okay? So do what you want with that information, but don't fuck with me and I won't fuck with you. Okay? You got to know how to protect yourself. You got to know how to protect you and your family if it come down to it. And I just don't believe in practicing something that's just like, oh, these magical people are just taking care of me and all of my needs and I don't have to do anything else and everything else is okay in the world and there's nothing else going on. Like, no. Like you have to understand, yes, God is there for us. God is always providing and things like that. But everybody else ain't always on that same tip. Everybody else ain't always in that same frequency and in that mindset. So if somebody come fucking with you, what you gonna do? Tell them you gonna just be like, I'm gonna pray about it. Okay. Okay. Let me know how that works. So moving on to the colognes and perfumes. So you'll see when you're shopping at like metaphysical stores, they'll always have perfumes, spiritual colognes, spiritual waters, floor washes, and things like that. There's several different types. Like one that's commonly known throughout like Christianity is holy water. A lot of spiritual practices like witchcraft and things like that are practiced in the church. It really is. It's right there. It's just it's not seen as the same thing, but it basically is. Okay, you have prophets coming to the church. That ain't nothing but a psychic. That's the same shit I do. Mediums coming to the church, or like I said, prophets to prophesize. That's nothing more, nothing less than what I do or the next spiritual worker does. Okay, so don't be confused by all these fancy terms and names and stuff. Like understand what's going on and what it is. So colognes and perfumes, there are a number of colognes that were manufactured by non-hoodoo companies that are used by practitioners for their magic and spiritual characteristics. Some of the more popular colognes include Florida Water, Strong Love, Kananga Water, Hoyt's Cologne, um, Jockey Club Cologne. Colognes can be used to cleanse objects and people as well as to provide protection and good luck. Jockey Club became known for its power to bring about good luck and employment. So that's a good one for people who are looking for a new job or wanting to venture into like a new career path or like a business venture. It's also, I already said employment. So one of the more popular hoodoo colognes is Hoyt's cologne. Hoyt's is used to bring good luck to gamblers. So for those of you who gamble, that's a good one. Or you work with numbers a lot. You could work like for the stock market or anything like that, or you could do like crypto or something like that. That would be a really good spiritual cologne to use. Kananga water and Florida water are both recognized in hoodoo for protection and cleansing. So I will give you a little bit of gems when it comes to the Kananga water. The Kananga is actually a great ancestral offering. Okay, same for the Palo Santo cologne. That's a good ancestral offering, and then the 1800. It's really good. Um, you see, perfumes and hoodoo are used to draw specific energies based on their scent and color. Perfumes can be used to draw luck or money for hexing or removing curses. Okay, so it's really like it's something for everything. So, all right, I'm gonna start skipping around a little bit because I know I did not want to do all of this. So, all right, Goofer Dust. So this is a good one. A lot of people don't talk about this one. But Goofer Dust is used in playing tricks on enemies. It can be sprinkled in an area where the victim will come in contact with the dust. The dust attracts the spirit or the dead to the victim. Traditional recipes include graveyard dirt, sulfur, brimstone, and salt. Variations include snake and lizard skin along with red peppers. The term goofer is a corruption of the African word kuwafa. So this is Kuwfa, meaning a dead person. There was a slave belief that if a slave placed graveyard dirt into his shoes, he would not be detected by dogs. Wow. So do you see how this goes back to slavery? This goes back to what our ancestors actually did, okay, to protect themselves every day. This is their life. This is and something else I wanted to say. Like I had seen this TikTok, this young lady that says something like it was like one of those videos, like what's something that they don't want you to know? She was just saying how why do you think our ancestral practices are demonized? And she said, it's because if we knew how powerful we were, they would be afraid. If we all knew and if we all addressed ourselves or held ourselves to that level of esteem, like where we know where we come from, like we're literal royalty. We know where we come from before we came here. Okay? When you know that and you know that you have warrior blood in you, that's a different energy from letting motherfuckers walk all over you and letting people play with you. Okay? So she was saying something along those lines, but um again, so there's a slave belief that if a slave placed graveyard dirt in his shoes, he could not be detected. So these things came about just so we could just make it. You know what I'm saying? The young lady was also saying like they're basically they have brainwashed black people into telling us that our practices are going to result in us going to hell, and that keeps a lot of us like this heaven and hell mentality. It keeps a lot of us off of our path because we feel like, well, if I dabble in that, that's witchcraft, that's this, that's that, so I can't do that because God will not be pleased. Have you not thought about the fact that our ancestors have already been through hell and we're living in the frequency of that? They've already been through hell on earth. They've already been through it. They've been through the lynchings. They've been through um their children being separated from them and their wives being raped in front of them and in front of their children. They've been through being sold and having to not only come from Africa to the United States, but then from the United States being displaced from their family. So when you think about it from that perspective, woo, honey, I could talk about this all day. But I'm gonna just say, when it comes to some of the things that we've been through, it's just, I can't put it into words, the level of respect and the love and the honor that I will always forever show to my ancestors and my spirit team, because it's a reason why I found this path. It's a reason why, everything has happened exactly how it happened. It's a reason why. And I've just learned to accept the fact that this is my calling. This is my path. Like, it's nothing I can do about that. Just like it was nothing that our ancestors could have done about their situation. They had to make the best out of the worst possible situation. So for that, I have the utmost respect, okay? And I'm not going to let people come into this having a mindset like, oh, I'm doing this for a nigga. I'm doing this to get a woman or to trap somebody. Like, it's deeper than that. Do you think that's what they cared about when they was, you know, um, walking for days, running for days, running from dogs, running from oppression, running from pain and generational trauma? What do you think? Like, why would I just let anybody, like, why would I just know? Like, I'm not gonna tell everything there is to know, because everything ain't for the public. And what I practice is sacred. If it's meant for you to know, you will know. If it's meant for you, you will know. Okay. So I talked to you guys about the Goofer Dust. So another popular one is the graveyard dirt. So graveyard dirt is used in hoodoo a lot. So the substance is obtained by going to a grave and offering a payment to the spirit of the dead. Typically a silver coin, like a dime, is left at the grave. Graveyard dirt may be placed on someone's property to cause the intended target to become sick or leave town. One root worker shared with me that the graveyard dirt can call attention to the spirits of the dead. This is believed to cause calamity in the life of the victim. Okay. So what I would say about the graveyard dirt, do not go get your own graveyard dirt, especially if you're a newbie. There are certain procedures when you're going into a cemetery or graveyard. And those procedures you just would not know as a newbie. So don't do that shit. If you can go to like a spiritual store, like order it online, then do that. Get it from somebody who knows what they're doing. Um, because what I will say, the grave that the dirt comes from is so significant. So let's say you're doing work for a particular thing. The person that you're getting the dirt from matters. Like, you cannot if you want to trouble somebody or whatever the case may be, or have them, going through it, you wouldn't use the grave of a person that, I don't want to say too much. I don't want to say too much, but all I'm gonna say is don't get it yourself. Just get it from somebody who knows what they're doing. Etsy is really good for stuff like this because you can look at the reviews. Okay, last thing you want to do is get some dirt the wrong way, and then now the spirits are fucking with you, or that spirit, you done brought it to your house because you didn't do the right purification and cleansing. You didn't have your head covered when you went and got the dirt. Like, you just too fucking open, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So yeah, with that being said, just get it online, okay, or get it from somebody you trust. Now, horseshoes, this is one of my favorite objects used in hoodoo. So horseshoes, literal horseshoes, like, you can find them really anywhere, but they're traditional symbols of good luck, okay? So in hoodoo culture, they're believed to be able to ward off ghosts, witches, and conjurers. They were frequently placed over a doorway of homes and businesses, okay? Um, um, Lodestones is another one of my favorites, okay? These are amulets that are used for protection and to draw success, okay? These can be dressed with money drawing oil to attract finances. Lodestones are fed magnetic sand to put them to work. Lodestones are believed to come in male and female forms. Giving iron fillings to the man is called feeding the he, while the female feeding is called feeding the she. Okay, so another thing with the lodestones, it's good for attraction work. Okay, So the Lodestones are literally like magnets. Um, I have some, but I have them in stuff, so I won't be able to show you guys. But the Lodestones are just so powerful, like they're so good. But you can use them in like mojo bags. You can use them in jars. You can use them like you can just use, have them on the altar or whatever the case might be. Of course, oils are significant. Um, the oils can be used for pretty much everything. You'll see there are oils for every single thing. Like so there's one called Gambler's Luck, Lucky Bingo. Those are used to bring about success in gambling. Another one is called Fast Luck Oil, which can be used to bring customers into a business. Come to Me Oil, and Drawing Oil are used in operations to attract the opposite sex. Van Oil, which is a really popular oil, was once considered the most popular during conjuring. Okay, I'm sorry. Was considered the most popular conjuring drug in Louisiana, according to Zora Neale Hurston. The oil is believed to bring about luck and power to its user. Also believed to be able to remove tricks. Okay, so okay, I'm gonna read a couple more, and then you guys, I'm gonna be done with this video. Let me know if you guys like this type of content. I know I have a lot more of, I don't know what I want to call you guys yet. I really want to say my master manifestors, but I know I have a lot of new manifestors coming to my channel. I'm so excited to have you guys here. I'm excited to have you learn from me. I'm humbled. Thank you for trusting me. Leave me a comment down below and let me know how you found me. But I'm super excited. I'm super humbled by the fact that people actually like really listen to me. Like that shit still blows my mind. Like, um, it's really humbling and I don't take that for granted. Okay, so now I'm gonna read you guys two more. No, I'm gonna read y'all three more. Okay, so rabbit's foot. Okay, the rabbit's foot is really significant. So it's used to bring about good luck and was once used to repel sorcery. Some root workers encourage clients to wear the foot on a string around the neck to remove a fever. Okay, I've also heard them use this for babies. Okay, to remove fever from babies. So next we have the red brick dust. Okay, so this is good. Write this down. Red brick dust is crushed and then the remaining powder is used to provide magical protection. There are many testimonies in Hoodoo culture about devotees who place red brick dust at the entrance of a home as a means of protecting the resident. Okay. Last but not least, salt. So salt is primarily used for protection. So there are different types of salt. Um, some of the more common salts are black salt, and then you can use pink Himalayan salt. You can use the idolized salt. I don't know how you pronounce that, but you can use regular salt or black salt. But black salt is really, really good for removing negative energy, keeping away negative spirits. It's good for like purification and things like that. But salt is not used for prosperity work, okay? Salt is used to repel, okay? To repel. So if you're using salt in something for prosperity and attraction, which is bringing in, then that shit is already canceled right there, okay? So that is why mentorship, studying is extremely important, okay? It's extremely important. You have to get your study and your mentorship in before you can be teaching anybody anything. And just understand what you ask for, you will get it. So if you already trying to be the teacher, then that's going to come with some responsibilities, okay? That's going to come with a lot of people pulling on your energy. It's going to come with a lot of people who are needing you. So again, even though I'm not on the shadow work video no more. I just did a video about shadow work, but I was just referring to my shadow self. Um, had I not taken that time for myself to heal and grow and evolve and work through my church hurt and work through my limiting beliefs and work through what are my fucking beliefs. If I hadn't did that, then I would not be the woman that you guys are learning from today. You know, um, I'm not saying I'm the best teacher, best mentor out there, but I know I do my job and I do it well. Um, so yeah, thank you guys for trusting me. Be sure to leave me a comment down below. Let me know what resonated. I know this is a lot of new information for most of you. So I don't know who's going to come across this video. I don't know if it's newbies into hoodoo. I don't know if it's people who are just looking for more information. Because there's not a lot of information about the practice. It's really not, because it's not meant to be. But I did want to share with you guys more of the history, because that I can teach, okay? I can talk to you guys about more of the stories, things that have happened, popular spirits who are honored throughout hoodoo and conjure work. But just let me know down in the comments. Um, you guys be sure to turn on your post notifications, subscribe to my TikTok, subscribe to my, well, follow me on Instagram. Subscribe to my Patreon. Everything, all my links are in the bio on my channel. That was a lot. That was a mouthful. But thank you guys so much for watching. This is Juju the Master Manifester, and I am out.